Hi friends, welcome to my new video. So in the previous videos we saw about the glycolysis, and in part 1 we saw about the basics and the features of the glycolysis along with the anaerobic glycolysis, and in the part 2 we saw about the aerobic glycolysis, and afterwards we saw the Krebs cycle, which was in a simplified way. And now we are going to see about the electron transport chain. So let's move on to the video without wasting any time. So it has two names, that is the electron transport chain, which is also called as ETC, or the respiratory chain. So it has two names. And the second point is that it's a common pathway, like it can be called as a definition for the electron transport chain, that it is a common pathway in aerobic cells by which the electrons in reducing equivalents derived from various substrates are transferred to the oxygen. So basically what this means to us. So basically the thing that we're speaking now is of the aerobic glycolysis, that is the glycolysis that occurs in the presence of oxygen. So now we see that in the body there are aerobic cells. So these cells need energy in the form of ATP, or simply they need energy. But the energy provided in the glycolysis in the Krebs cycle, that is the ATP directly synthesized, is not enough. Therefore, we have the ETC, that is the electron transport chain. So what does this electron transport chain do? So the NADH and the FADH, these are the substrate level energy forms. So we know that the NADH and the FADH are the reduced equivalents of energy. So these have the energy, these have the ATP in them. So how to gain the ATP? So if this is NADH and FADH, so they have to enter the ETS chain system, that is the electron transport chain, and when they enter and get processed here, and then they come out as ATP. So the ETC, that is electron transport chain, is a path from which the proper energy is released from the reduced equivalents. So these are the reduced equivalents. So when they enter here and they get processed, they come out as ATP, which could be utilized by the aerobic cells. So this is why we need the electron transport chain. So as we can say, the common pathway, like ETC is a common pathway by which the electrons in the reducing equivalents, that is the energy, we can say the energy present in NADH and FADH2, derived from various substrate, that is the various molecules and compounds, are transferred to oxygen. And when they are transferred to oxygen, the body cells get oxygen. Sorry, the body cells get energy. And that is the reason why the electron transport chain is very important, because the electron transport chain, it converts the reducing equivalents, like this is the reducing equivalent, you can say the NADH2 or FADH2, they go into the electron transport chain and they come out as ATP. That's all. So guys, what is the concept behind this? What happens and how do the cells get the energy? But before moving on further, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to receive the latest updates. So we are going to see here, like the carbohydrates, fatty acids and amino acids, they all get oxidized, okay, either in the glycolysis process and then in the Krebs cycle. So when they get oxidized, they give rise to the NADH and FADH2, that is the hydrogen and the electrons. And these hydrogen electrons are the reduced equivalents of energy. Then they enter the ETC cycle, that is the electron transport chain, and then afterwards they give the electrons to the oxygen, and ultimately this oxygen forms the water. So here what happens is that via this ETC chain, we get ATP to the body. So this is the whole concept. So ETC gives the ATP to the whole body. So we see that in the complex 1, 4 hydrogen ions are pumped from the outer mitochondrial membrane to the inner mitochondrial membrane. So 4 hydrogen ions here. And similarly, in complex 3, 4 hydrogen ions are pumped inside the inner mitochondrial membrane. And in the complex 4, 2 hydrogen ions are pumped into the inner mitochondrial membrane. So what happens here is the energy is produced, that's correct. But so if we see that this is the matrix, so where does this happen? Where does this electron transport chain takes place? So the location is, so it is the mitochondria. More specifically, if we say, then it is the, but generally if we speak about this, then we can say that a specific mitochondria has an outer membrane, that is the outer mitochondrial membrane, and inner mitochondrial membrane. And in between this pink color area is the matrix. And between the outer mitochondrial membrane and inner mitochondrial membrane, we have this intermembrane space, which is present here. This blue color marked area is the intermembrane space. So let us zoom in to see the image more clearly. So we have zoomed in the mitochondria. So here we can see this is the outer mitochondrial membrane, this is the inner mitochondrial membrane, this is the matrix, and this is the inner membrane space. So basically, we know that in electron transport chain there are four complexes. So the complexes are all present here. That is the inner mitochondrial membrane. So this is, let us consider this is the inner mitochondrial membrane area where the complexes are present. So the whole energy from this place goes to the inner membrane space. The reason why this matrix has the energy and the electron gradient or the energy gradient flows from this matrix position to the inner membrane space because the glycolysis process and the Krebs cycle, that is the Krebs cycle, and the glycolysis process occurs in this matrix only. So as the glycolysis and the Krebs cycle occurs in the matrix, they give the energy from here and it moves to the inner membrane space. That is, this portion is called as the inner membrane space. To be more clear, let us understand the diagram. So consider this blue color line as the outer mitochondrial membrane and this portion as the inner membrane space and this portion as the inner membrane of the mitochondria, and this is the outside, that is the outer environment. So this part marks the boundary, like now which I am drawing in the red color is the boundary. This thick line is the boundary. So this whole area is the mitochondria, this whole violet color is the mitochondria, and this red color space that I marked before is the outside space. So the four complexes are present here. So what happens is that the energy from this inner mitochondrial membrane or the inner matrix, the matrix, like this is the matrix, goes from the complexes one by one and enters into the inner mitochondrial space, that is this portion, and from here the aerobic cells gets their energy as they are transported via the oxygen. So here the NADH and FADH2, that is the energies, the reduced equivalents of energies, undergo and they convert into the ATPs. So what process they undergo? So they undergo the oxidative phosphorylation. So the NADH or the FADH2, when they undergo the oxidative phosphorylation, they give rise to ATPs. So between the steps, that between this arrow is what the ETC happens. So simply speaking, here comes the electron transport chain, and when this enters the electron transport chain and when it is processed here, then it comes out as ATP. So in the electron transport chain there are four enzyme complexes, that is the complex 1, the complex 2, the complex 3 and the complex 4, and these four complexes have been assigned different names. So the complex 1 has been named as NADH CoQ or coenzyme Q oxidoreductase. The complex 2 has succinate CoQ or coenzyme Q oxidoreductase. The complex 3 has cytochrome C CoQ or coenzyme Q oxidoreductase, and the complex 4 has cytochrome C oxidase. So let us see the ETS chain or the electron transport chain, or it is also called as a terminal oxidation or the respiratory chain mechanism. So first of all, what happens is that we will be seeing this step by step. So this is the first step. So let us zoom in. So the first step is that the NADH2 that is present here is oxidized to the NAD. So when this NADH2 is oxidized to NAD, there we see that this transfers the H2, that is the energy, to the FMN. Basically initially it is FMN, but when this transfers the H2 to the FMN, then this FMN gets converted to the FMNH2. So this complex, the first complex is called as NADH coenzyme Q reductase. This FMNH2 gives the energy in the form of two electrons, that is shown here. See, it is shown here to the, so this FMNH2 gives two electrons to the FES. So we can see the FES. So FMNH2 transfers the two electrons to the FES. Similarly, the succinate is converted to fumarate, that is FUMARATE. The hydrogen is passed to the FAD and therefore it forms FADH2, and this is the energy or the ATP. So this FADH2 transfers two electrons similar to the complex 1 to the FES, and therefore two electrons from complex 2 and two electrons from complex 1. So now these electrons are transferred to the coenzyme Q, which is an intermediate between these all steps. So this facilitates the flow of the electrons. So these electrons that are present here goes here, passes through the coenzyme Q, and after that, and the name of the complex 2 is succinate coenzyme Q reductase. So remember this name, it would be useful. So now from the coenzyme Q, the electrons are transferred to the complex 3. The complex 3 consists of cytochrome B, F2S, and cytochrome C1. So these components constitute the complex 3, that is the cytochrome B, F2S, and the cytochrome C1. And the name of this complex is cytochrome C coenzyme Q oxidoreductase. So this is the complex 3, and from this complex 3, the electron move to the cytochrome C. This is also a intermediate component. So they pass by the cytochrome C, and after passing through the cytochrome C, they move to the complex 4. They move to the complex 4, and the name of the complex 4 is cytochrome C oxidase. So the complex 4, cytochrome C oxidase, constitutes the cytochrome A, cytochrome A3, the cytochrome A and cytochrome A3, and with this, two copper ions are also there. It is a very important thing to mention here because sometimes in the exams, in the NEET, they have asked this, that what constitutes the complex 4, and sometimes everyone misses the two copper ions thing. So these three components, that is the cytochrome A, cytochrome A3, and the two copper ions constitute the complex 4, and from here the electrons pass on ultimately to the, so from complex 4 the whole electrons moves to the oxygen, which ultimately gets converted to the water, and with this the ATP or the energy is supplied to the body. So this is the whole ETS or electron transport chain system. I divided into parts and showed that to you, so you can have a glance at this. And this is the intermembrane space. So the complexes are here. So the hydrogen ions from the matrix goes to this space, and here the concentration of the hydrogen ions increases. And when this concentration increases, there is another one complex, that is ATP synthase, which is also called as complex 5, which decreases the hydrogen ions in the inner membrane space. Therefore, the matrix has more number of hydrogen ions, and thus ATP is also received by the body. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Like the video, subscribe to the Dr. Great channel, and show your support to me, and share this video to everyone. as much as possible. And if you have any suggestions, please put that down in the comment sections below. And once again, thank you all.